This time on the Texas Gooney Bird. Of course, I didn't see anything in there about a line of cars, or buses, or the dreaded fence right off the threshold.
I had just gotten home from work, and my wife told me she was in the mood for barbecue. Now, as a southern boy, that is sweet music to my ears. So come on, let's head on out to a great barbecue spot, Carl's Barbecue, located at Weiser Airpark near Houston.
Even though Weiser is just a few miles away, the Gooney Bird is getting a little low on fuel, so we'll stop and top it off before we go. While we're doing that, let's take a detailed look at the approach to Weiser Field. Looking at the chart supplement, Weiser has two runways. The east-west runway is paved. There's also a grass strip that goes from north to south. It looks like the grass strip is reported as rough with holes and dirt mounds. I just washed the Gooney Bird, so I think we'll opt for the paved runway today. Thank you very much. The wind is out of the northeast today, so we'll probably be landing runway 9. This runway is reported to have a tree near the approach path and also uses right traffic. Looks like there's also a power line at the other end. Well, it looks like I'm just about finished fueling. Wow, look at me go. I think I might need to cut back on the caffeine a little bit. Okay, so here we are turning our right base to runway 9 at Weiser. Hey guys, fasten your seatbelts and return your tray table to its full upright and locked position. Let's see, that's the old Cameron Ironworks building. So this area around here is actually kind of sentimental to me.
You see, back in the early 80s, my brother-in-law was a rice farmer. I guess I was about 15 or 16 at the time, before I could even drive. But in the summers, he would hire me to run one of his combines to help harvest the rice.
This isn't an actual picture of us, but it should give you an idea of how massive these things are. A combine weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 30,000 pounds, which is like 12 of my fully loaded planes stacked up on top of each other. We would usually run 3 or 4 combines simultaneously. My cousin would usually drive the wagon that carried the harvested rice back to one of the waiting tractor trailers. Then it was off to the rice dryer. I spent many a Texas summers driving one of those non-air-conditioned mammoths in 100+ degree weather and what felt like 101% humidity. I was a skinny little kid. I probably weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. While most kids were lounging around playing Atari during their summer vacation, I was out there sweating my butt off for 10 or more hours a day. Nowadays, people might think that was some kind of torture, but not me. It was like I was Captain James T. Kirk on the USS Enterprise. I had a blast. Yeah, I was kind of a simple boy. I think it was just my parents' way of keeping me out of trouble, and it worked pretty well. Anyway, the reason I brought that up is that right around here and spreading that way is where those 1,000+ acres of rice fields were located. Sadly, much of that land is now filled with subdivisions, as you can see. Oh well, life goes on. If you're like me and not familiar with Weiser Airport, the runway can be a little difficult to find with all the ground clutter. Sometimes when I first take up a new passenger, they might get a little disturbed to find out that no pilot can actually see the runway from 50 miles out. No worries though, if they were on a commercial flight, they would never land at the wrong airport. Okay, I think that's the runway right there. See, I don't know what you were so worried about. Alright, let's start our turn to final approach. Ever notice that the term final approach sounds so ominous? They really need to come up with a better term. Something like, time for a gentle landing, like laying your weary head on a snugly goose-down pillow. I might need to work on that a bit. Carl's is located on the south side of the runway, right over here. This is Highway 290, which by the way looks pretty dang close to our short final. I guess that's the tree they were talking about. Of course, I didn't see anything in there about a line of cars, or buses, or the dreaded fence right off the threshold. Let me point out here that the camera uses a pretty wide-angle lens, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure we could have read the VIN numbers on each of those buses as we passed overhead. Alright, so we shut down the Gooney bird and headed toward Carl's. There's Weiser Field out that way. Looks like there's a helicopter practicing over back at Weiser, but no time for that. We're on a mission here. Look, they've even got Texas walking stones. I love them already. For those of you coming from the freeway side, here's their front entrance. Let's head on in. Now, Carl's has been serving their mesquite smoked barbecue since 1951, and let me tell you, they've got it down. Just look at those ribs. There was plenty seating available when we went, though I understand it does get pretty packed at times. Now, most normal people probably would have stayed in the air conditioning to enjoy their barbecue, but not us. We're going to head out to the runway and eat in today's sweltering heat. Hey, I'm trying to toughen those kids up a bit. We sat under the shaded porch that lies right next to the runway. I mean, seriously, who needs a big screen TV when they have a view like this? Alright, let's sit down, spread the food, and enjoy the show. Well, look at that beautiful Texas sun starting to set. What a glorious ending to a wonderful late summer afternoon.
So if you're ever looking for some entertainment, head on out to Carl's. Stop by Weiser, sit out by the runway, have some good food and entertainment. Until next time, we'll see you on Texas Gooney Bird.